Hi everybody and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion today. So I thought today I'd speak about my hometown team of Southampton. Now, even though I'm a Forest supporter, I grew up in Southampton, lived in Southampton until I was in my 30s. Okay, lovely city and everything. You know, a club which has a lot of heritage of great players that have come through that team. Okay, if you look at in the last 30 odd years, you've had the likes of, or actually 40 years, you know, Matthew Tissier's come through there. You've had the Wallace brothers, you've had Gareth Bale, you've had Theo Walcott. You could name loads of other players. So there's a lot of players that have a lot to thank for Southampton Football Club. Now, but the problem is Southampton got relegated yesterday, which was, I believe, is the fastest team to be relegated in the season. They're also looking at breaking Derby's record of the least amount of points in the season. They could still turn it around and everything. And one of the things I've thought about is, one, have they deserved to get relegated? Two, who's to blame for their relegation? Okay. Is it the players? Is it the managers? And is it the board? Well, the first thing is, yeah, they do deserve to get relegated. I'm sorry to say it. And I'm sorry to say it to all my old friends from Southampton that are Southampton fans and everything. You get what you deserve in life. And there's a reason why Southampton currently only have, 10 points? Yeah, 10 points. Okay, because they haven't performed all season. And there's a reason why they've conceded 74 goals, which is absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Which brings me on to whose fault is it? Now, if you go and look at YouTube, everybody's going to be saying, oh, it's Russell Martin's fault. It's all Russell Martin's fault. The reality is, it's not Russell Martin's fault. Whether you want to hear that or not, it is not Russell Martin's fault. Okay. If he stayed there all season, okay, fair enough. Go and blame him. Okay. I wouldn't say anything about it. But he left like 5 months ago. He left beginning to mid-December. I think he left round about the 14th of December that he got sacked. So that manager that's come in, Ivan Jurek, okay, he's had a transfer window and he's had the best part of 5 months to turn things around. Take a look at David Moyes at Everton. Fundamentally turned the club around. Now, I appreciate people are going to say, yeah, but Everton got much better players, and they do. And they fundamentally do. Now, do I blame Ivan Jurek? Partly. Because anybody I speak to that are Southampton fans or watch Southampton week in, week out, so one of the problems for Ivan Jurek is he's a poor manager. He plays players out of position. But the fundamental problem that he's got is, one, he hasn't been able to change the style of play, because you can't really realistically do it halfway through the season when you're in a relegation fight. So that's not his fault. But what he could have done is got more out of the players that he has got. Which then brings you on to the players. Okay, are the players good enough that they've got at the club? And that's when I took a look at yesterday's starting lineup. And I thought, right, are these players good enough? And the reality is, they're not. They're poor players. A lot of these players wouldn't even get into some of the championship teams. You know, and there are exceptions to the rule. Because come the end of the season, if all of these players got put up for sale, how many of them would get picked? Would Premier League teams want to go and buy? Okay, you got Aaron Ramsdale in goal. Okay, I'll give you that. You've got possibly Kyle Walker-Peters, and I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, Mateus Fernandes. They're the three. Those three, they're the only three players in their squad that teams are going to want, potentially. Not even Diblin. Most people I speak to about Diblin, and everybody keeps on raving, saying, oh, Man United want him, Chelsea want him, teams out in Europe, you know, the likes of Real Madrid and not Barcelona, I believe Bayern Munich all want to get him. Yeah, for like in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. He leaves that club. If he leaves Southampton, which he'd be a fool to do, and I'll tell you, if his parents are watching, tell your son not to leave Southampton. Okay, and that's not because I'm a Southampton fan. Okay, Diblin will not get into the first team of any Premier League team as things stands. He is nowhere near good enough. He's inconsistent and he's 18. He may have the potential to become a Premier League quality player. Maybe even an international player. That's not for me to say. Anything can happen in time. Best place for him at the moment is to stay at Southampton. Now, they may decide that they're going to need the cash because they've got nothing in their squad, really, for the relegation that they're going to have and the lost revenue that they're going to have, because I've been told that they've spent this season like 120 million. I would love to know where they've spent 120 million, because when I look at that team, there is nothing there. Because if you look at that defence, take away Aaron Ramsdale in goal, that is basically the defence that started at the beginning of last season in the Championship. Okay, you look at the midfield. The midfield is nothing. There are Championship teams with better midfield than that Southampton have got at the moment, and certainly for up front, there are certainly Championship teams with better striking options. In Cameron Archer, I'm sorry, and Ross Stewart, as I've already been told, Ross Stewart's a bit like Leeds United striker. He's always in sick bay. And that's not Ross Stewart's fault, you know. And so why has this happened? With all the money that they've spent, where are the decent players? Because I don't see them. You know, I couldn't even understand why Southampton went and got Adam Lallana. Now, Adam Lallana will always be a great player, but he's over the hill and he's been injury prone for years. Southampton have needed players in the midfield. Now, I don't know how much Adam Lallana gets paid. I don't know how much he may have got in signing on bonuses or anything to come to Southampton. But that was absolute wasted money. It was pointless exercise. You know, I don't understand why they did it. You know, if they want somebody to improve the dressing room, there's lots of other players you could have gone and got. Didn't need Adam Lallana to do that. You know, he will go down in Southampton Premier League history. It's one of their best players that they've ever had. You know, there's no arguments about that. You know, may not have made the wisest decision going to Liverpool at the end of the day. Nobody's perfect at the end of the day. You've got to say that as well. But the reality is that there's nothing there. And there's no surprise at all that Southampton have been relegated. So whose fault is it? Do you go back to Russell Martin? Or do you take a closer look at the board and the decision makers who are going to be picking these players to buy? Because there's nothing there to say that they had a chance of staying up. You know, if you take a look at the player that they sold in the summer who went off to South America, and I know there was talk he was going to Everton. I don't know if he did go to Everton. I didn't pay that much attention. And that South American team were going to make a profit. You know, so where is the problem? And this is what I believe. I believe that the problem is the board and the backroom staff. They fundamentally failed this club yet again. The amount of times over the years that ownership have failed Southampton Football Club, I've lost count. And I can say that for somebody who grew up in Southampton. You know, Southampton Football Club deserve a damn sight better. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. You know, so all I can personally say is I hope Southampton have a good season next year. I hope they don't lose too many of these players. And I hope that the board reinvest some money, okay, and get some decent quality players in, but are potentially ready for maybe to go up to the Premier League and be Premier League quality. They might, you know, I don't expect them to go, you know, if you go and look at Nottingham Forest, I don't expect them to go and buy a Morgan Gibbs White player or somebody like that. You could look at other teams as well. I only say that being a Forest fan. You know, so what do they need to do? Fundamentally, they need to sort out their defence. They need a quality centre-back pairing. They're going to need a quality left-back that's going to be top quality Championship standard, potentially Premier League standard. They're going to definitely need a new goalkeeper because Aaron Ramsdale is never going to stay at Southampton next season. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to risk his England career to stay at Southampton. Okay, then you've got to look up front. They need a striker. And they're probably going to need a 10 as well. Because everybody that I speak to tell me Mateus Fernandes is way too good for Southampton. And he's going to be getting offers. Whether that's in England, in the Premier League, or elsewhere in Europe. He will be getting offers. Okay, the rest of the team, I don't even think they're good enough for Southampton. To be honest. You know, I've done flogged a lot of them and go and build a new team. You know, so let us know what you think. If you're a Southampton fan, okay, let us know what you think. You know, how many players do they need? Who needs to go? You know, you can even talk to me about the board. Do you think the board needs to go? Does the manager need to go? Does that all need to be changed? What needs to be changed to improve the fortunes for Southampton over the next 5 years? You can even go as far as 10 years if you want. Let us know in the comments down below. But obviously for now, thanks for watching. And if you are new to the channel, if you could please subscribe as well, I would appreciate it. But for now, it's been great speaking to you, and I'll speak to you again a bit later.